Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Taylor here. We're on episode 4 of our Let's Play for Captain of Industry. So last episode, I said I was gonna um, get the water for the settlement done, so I did that over here. I've got it all uh, piped up to the wastewater here, because it takes in water, produces wastewater. So I've got that piped up here, and then I've got this very long water line because I didn't realize that the closest water well was over here. So I've got a very long water line kind of going down this way. Not the most efficient thing because it is using a decent amount of maintenance, um, but it works. So we'll live with that for the time being. I also went ahead. I plopped down some more basic research labs just to speed through all of the research leading up to the research lab 1 here. So that's the next goal that we have here is to get the upgrade for the basic research lab. Before we do that, though, however, you'll notice the little snail icon here. That's the game telling us we don't need to rush these because we need to take the time to make sure everything that we've unlocked so far is taken care of, and making sure our industry is running well up to this point, so that way it doesn't get too out of hand. So with that being said, I am going to make a few changes here and there. I went into planning mode over here, so you can use that with the B key, or you can just click this down here. Went into planning mode and I laid out a few blueprints that I drafted up here. So we also unlocked blueprints a little while ago. That's on F4, but also down here at the bottom. So I've got some blueprints for some assembly setups and also for some furnace setups here. So you'll see the iron furnace setup here, and then the 3, 1, and 2 input assemblers here. All using assembler 1s, but I'm going to go ahead and unpause these, so that way our trucks can start building those. I'm not going to unpause. I'm actually going to take out 2 of these. I'm not going to have those 2 because what I would like to do is actually build this farm up a little bit more. And realistically, one excavator can only feed one of these anyways. So if we get another excavator in here, we can feed both of these. But I want to go ahead and pipe these up while our trucks are building all of that. So I'll unpause here, let our trucks get to work on that up there, and then we'll actually let me think about this for a minute longer. No, I still think that's a good spot for it. Okay, so we'll let the trucks get on with that, and then we'll focus our efforts down here on getting all of this plumbed up here. All right, so we're going to take the iron over this way, and we're going to feed the iron in there and feed it in down there. I actually do need one more of these loose storage here, along with a U-shaped lift. One at the base, 1 level, and then the next one at the next level up. And then both of these are going to feed... Oh, I did that one backwards. Nope, that one was correct. That one's correct. Yep. So this is going to have our slag. This is going to have our slag coming in from the furnaces. So needs to be up at 2. That's going to feed that way. This one's going to come in down here, feed just like that. And then this one needs to be turned around because this one is actually going to be our coal input for all of this. So we need another one of these. Yep. Actually want it to go like that. So the way I did that, if you didn't see the button press, because it wanted to sit like this. So the way I did that was just hold down the control button, as you can see down here. And that just makes it take a different path. Sometimes it does what you want it to do, sometimes it doesn't. In the case if it didn't do what I wanted it to do, I would just have to come in here and do something like this, and then or do something like this and then bring it over, for example. All right, so we're going to feed this all the way down. So stacking the belts like this helps us have multiple inputs kind of going through the same. So that'll take care of that, and then we can unpause all of that, have all that built. And then what we will do, I think I'm going to put it right here next to the farms, although we do have trucks traveling through there. Let's put it right here. This is where our iron's going to go, and it's going to come out over here. How do we want to do this? All right, let's do a lift. Let's do it up 1, 2. 2 should be fine. Then we're going to bring this all the way down. Oh. Put you right there. And we got a connection there. All right. So that'll be our iron coming in. The trucks can still go through here, so that's not an issue. And all right, so we'll just wait for all this to get built, I do believe. And we do have room here to bring out this other, because the idea is to possibly expand this way once we find another more suitable location for the farms. For now, I want to leave this space open to expand 2 more farms over here. But later on, we'll be putting farms somewhere else, more than likely. As part of our research, we did unlock the balancers, but then also the sorters that I was talking about in one of the previous episodes. So we've got both of those for all of the different pipe types. We have a stacker. So the stacker, you input a loose storage material in one side and it dumps it in the world. Useful if you want your trucks dumping something in a storage and then you want it to get picked up through a ore sorting facility or something along those lines. We also got retaining walls here. So we probably will be using those as our mines go deeper. So as we start going down, I'll be putting up retaining walls to make sure the dirt doesn't slide in and cause issues. So we'll work on that. We got the forestry control tower, so we can have our own tree planting area eventually. Right now we've got access to plenty of trees, so I don't think we need that right now. We do have surfaces that we can put down. Each one of these costs a certain material. Most of them cost concrete slabs, but these metal surfaces, they cost iron. But they all have the benefit of lowering vehicles maintenance by 20%. The only downside with these is you have to put them in such a way to force the trucks to actually use them, because the trucks won't seek them out. So they won't say they're going down this path here, and then we've got some surface over here. They'll just keep going along this path. They won't try to go towards the surface. So you have to box them in such a way where it forces them to use the surface in order for them to take advantage of that 20% vehicle maintenance. I believe the surfaces, that 20% is not global. I believe it's only when they're traveling on the surface, but I could be wrong on that. Because now that I look at it, it might be global, although I don't think that would make much sense, because that would get kind of OP pretty quickly. All right, we can spruce the place up a little bit, pun totally intended, by putting down some trees. And then we have level 2 housing, so we can upgrade our housing, but you'll notice it takes construction part 2s, which we are making over here kind of slowly, but then we're also using up a whole bunch of them because each one of these conveyors uses some construction part 2. So yeah, we're gonna use that up pretty quickly. Ooh, before I forget, I need to set all these recipes if they have not already been set, and then also set these. Actually, setting those wouldn't do anything in this instance because they're being fed by this, but we need to make sure these are getting fed. Oh, nope, I'm dumb. It's not for the construction parts, it's for the mechanical parts. It is the mechanical parts that we need to set a high priority on. All right, so that's taken care of. Next on the list, so construction parts, mechanical parts, vehicle parts. So vehicle parts, we're going to be this one. Vehicle parts need mechanical parts and electronics. Mechanical and electronics. All right, good there. Make sure this is set. Nope. Oh, these are vehicle parts. Yep. Oh, wrong button. All right, and then after vehicle parts, it was electronics. I'm pretty sure. Yep. So these are going to be the electronics. And then copy the settings over. Electronics need copper and rubber, or rubber and copper. So rubber, copper. We will set these also to 5 because electronics are an ingredient for our maintenance. So we want to make sure that's getting fed at a reasonable rate. Okay, good. And then we're going to, we need another 2. So I'll show you what I did here. So we went to assembly, went to 2 input, and then, oh, wrong spot. That's the furnaces. And then I just line them up with the dark black grid right here. So just line up the bottom with that grid. And then you're good. And then you just have to set the recipes. So this one was going to be our construction parts 2. And that needs construction part 1 and electronics. Good, okay. And then construction parts 2. Oh, wrong button again. All right, those are set up. Okay, so we'll just let those finish getting built. Now, I paused it to make sure I could set all the recipes before things started flowing through. So I'll go ahead and click this reward for the settlement water. And I'll go ahead and enable that fuel savers edict here with the vehicle consumption as well to collect that. We'll hold off on the advanced research for now. So that way we can make sure we get our get all this up and working. Make sure all these are set up appropriately. Because the biggest thing is you want to make sure the one, and it does tend to do this automatically. You can see over here at our wood, the trucks can import into the first one, but not export. And then it turns it off for all the rest of them in between. So that way, realistically, all the trucks are doing, if items flow through this, they're exporting into this, or they're putting things into this, waiting for it to flow all the way through, and then they're exporting or taking things out of this side. So you just want to make sure the same thing is set up here, so they can import to the first one, they can't do anything to the second one, and they can export at the last one. Import, nothing, export, like that. So import, nothing, export, import, nothing, export, import, nothing, export. There we go. And then these are already set up as well. All right, so that's all going to take a minute. So the construction parts 1 is completed. So we'll delete that down here. They'll move all the items up there. Mechanical parts is completed as well, so we'll delete that one as well. We're getting close to vehicle parts being done, so I'll go ahead and delete that. We don't use vehicle parts for too much other than making vehicles here in the vehicles depot, so I'm not worried about that not getting made for a lengthy period of time. Trucks are running around. So you can see here that the trucks are very busy. So this icon turned orange. So they're not quite overloaded yet, but there's not a whole bunch of them sitting idle for very long. If they continue to not sit idle for a lengthy period of time, this will turn to extremely busy and turn red. And that's kind of prompting you to probably maybe build some more trucks. But again, each truck takes a worker, so you got to balance that with how many assemblers you need. And we're running into power issues, which I figured was going to be the case. So let's build another diesel generator for now. Ooh, actually, instead of doing it there, let's do it over here where we can pipe diesel directly in instead of the trucks having to deliver it. One less thing the trucks have to do. I'll wait to delete those, because I do want some power flowing. Is the electronics working? Yes, they are. So we're going to delete that. Now we're going to go ahead and move our maintenance depot. I normally like to put it somewhere. So I'll put it in line with the mechanical parts here to begin with, and then we'll drag over to about right here. Actually, let me do a flat lift. Put it up to another flat lift. Put it up to 2. and then pipe that over just like that. So now we're mainlining the electronics and the mechanical parts to our maintenance depot. Again, less stuff the trucks have to do. Did we get those? We haven't got these built yet, but they are working on them diligently. So here's one of the, I think I mentioned it in like the first episode, or if I didn't, I meant to, but there are several invisible timers that you're kind of up against in this game. One of those invisible timers is this oil right here, this oil reserve. If you're not quick enough, there's one more ore reserve in the starting area, and it's way over here. Thankfully, we can get to it from here without having to build a ramp or something like that. You can see that our trucks are working on this ramp that I had designated here. All right, it's to help us to get to this upper level here. Same thing over here, building a ramp down so we can get to this this back end area here, which is some more copper and some more coal. Yes. Also kind of gets us access to this iron over here as well. So that'll be useful for later on. Like I was saying, if you run out of oil in this area, you have to go all the way over here, which is, it's nice on this map. New Haven, you only had the one spot in the starting area, and you had to dig through some mountains to get to another oil patch. It wasn't huge mountains, but still, you still had to dig to get to it. So that's kind of your first timer, is this oil, because you're using it in a very efficient or inefficient manner to make diesel right now. So we're gonna run low on this oil real quick. With that being said, I do want to get my ship out to explore some more, because there's a couple of sites that I want to see if we can unlock or open up. So they're headed off to explore the unknown. Hopefully they can find what I'm looking for. Oh, that was the potatoes complaining. So let's see. I did set up all those loose storages for the mines, I do believe. Yes, I did. We're really good on coal, thankfully. What else? So we are going to turn off. We'll turn this off at some point once these get built. Okay, location explored. Hey, that's what I'm looking for. We're not making a lot of those quite yet, so I'll wait to repair that. Explore the other site. And I will go ahead and start researching Research Lab 1. We're not going to produce the lab equipment quite yet, but... Alright, so those diesel generators were built, so let's tear those down. We should have an okay amount of power for now to power all of these. They're not all going to be working at the same time, so I think we're good. All right, they're headed back with a good amount of cargo. Clear that. I'll go ahead and clear. These are all the researches that we completed. So clear that. Oh, we did unlock crop rotation. I forgot about that. So we will set in here to rotate between potatoes and vegetables. Both of them can go 3 months without water. You can see here. So the potatoes will survive up to 3 months without water. So they're perfect for these basic farms because generally speaking, 3 months doesn't go by before it starts raining again. It rains a lot in this game. Although I say that. Oh, yep, there's the rain and it just completed. So we're good. All right. While they are finishing up all of this, I do want to redo this. There was a blast furnace has no recipe selected. That's fine, you're not fully hooked up yet anyways. There was a way that I did this in my last the last map, so I'm just going to put 2 of these over here, set them to potatoes so they can offload those potatoes that I told them to. You know what, actually, I forgot I can just do this. Do a quick remove with Unity. And do another quick remove. And there we go. Quick remove using the Unity just dumps it in your shipyard here. So easy way if you don't want to wait for them to offload it to another storage or something. So all right. Let's pause here just so we don't waste food. So I had a storage here. And we'll move it back one more. A storage there. And I had a storage here. So we'll put the potatoes up 1 level. We'll have that. Yep, that's perfect. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Have it up 1 level, have it come over here. Have it... Oh, almost just too short. It's like, why is it not connecting? All right. And then we're just going to wrap this around like, actually... we'll wrap it around like that. And then we'll feed this one as well. So that way we can do a regular lift. 1 up, or a flat lift. 1 up. 1 up. And then this one. Oh, nope, this needs to be moved back a couple more, actually. All right, so we'll do that. We'll do that. That. All right, so both of those are getting fed with the potatoes, and they're being fed, or they will be being fed with the vegetables. So we'll do that one more up. So 1, 2, 3. And then we'll feed this one over the top of the potatoes. And we'll just plan to have that there. Yep, there we go, just like that. So trucks can still make it through, and we're feeding vegetables and potatoes. Okay. Cool. Now these tier 1 food markets, they can only hold one. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to switch this to vegetables. So we dropped about half of our food there, which kind of stinks. But actually, did it put it in here? It may have put it in here. Actually. So let's set our blast furnace here. So again, same recipes. I'm gonna put the iron scrap on top, and I'm gonna say trucks can import, regardless. So they'll kind of swing by and they'll stop at this furnace. I'll do the same thing over here. If we have any iron scrap, which typically we get the iron scrap from exploring the map. So. All right, and we'll just let them all finish up with this. I think we got our construction parts 2 done up there. We did. So we'll demolish that, and our maintenance depot here will be built. So everything's chugging along there. We're chugging along. Well, say we're chugging along. They're bringing coal over. Not enough workers. All right. Well, we got extra housing capacity. Oh, that was another thing I did between episodes. I added another housing unit here as well. I will turn on the beacon to get us some more workers. Entice some more people to come over. Hey, come work for us. I swear it's not slave labor. We are paying our workers, right? I don't see anywhere that says we are or we're not, so we'll just assume we'll just assume they're getting paid. Oh no. Come on, rain. 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 Oh. They died. It doesn't happen often enough to where you really need to hook these crops up to water. Generally speaking, you end up with more than you need. So we are producing now about 5 per farm, so 10 between the two. 10 potatoes, 10 vegetables. And you can see now that they're getting both vegetables and potatoes, the demand for potatoes kind of got cut in half. So with one farm, we're pretty much producing enough for our population right now, which is excellent. Hopefully that lasts. All right, come on. Where are all the construction parts going? Where are you going with those? Oh, well, yeah, to be fair, that needs to be built as well. Yep, that needs to be emptied at a certain point. Cool, sweet. So we got trucks emptying that. We can demolish this, I believe, now. Yeah, because we are producing here. We just need this to get built. Which, once that gets built, they'll move all this stuff over to those new storages anyways. Alrighty, oh, there's some new refugees, so now we've got enough workers to fill out everything that we need for now. I'll go ahead and leave it on, because we could always build another farm up here too. And I'll end up piping those conveyor belts down here to feed into this system. So not too worried about that. Water's being taken care of. And also the reason why I plumbed this up to a water reserve is you can tell right here that they're already demanding 13.4 water per minute, which is a lot more than the piddly water that we were dealing with, over here for the electrolysis at just 6, and the kiln all the way over here also at 6, right? And this is only going to go up as our population goes up, so they have a higher water demand, and they will eventually also have a much higher demand overall. So, all right, cool. Maintenance depot got done, so we can demolish this one over here. I did research the research lab already. And we'll go ahead and plop down the equipment for... do we have enough? We don't. And also I need to make the research, or the lab equipment as well. So we did unlock the better way of making the concrete slabs, but we'll have to wait till next episode to take care of that. It pretty much replaces the kiln over here with a much more efficient version of that. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and place down what is going to be the lab equipment, which we have to do with assembly 2s, and it takes 2 inputs. So I'm going to go here, do 2 inputs just like I did before, line up with the dark black lines, place, and then while we're waiting for this to get done, oh, that's right, I need to upgrade these to research 2s. And then set the recipe. This is going to be lab equipment. And I'm going to set this to only be 100 because we don't really need... Actually, you know what? I'm going to set this to 60 because we really don't need that much lab equipment. It's used for research and that's pretty much it. So it needs mechanical parts and electronics. Like here's a prime example, right? So here's the lab equipment. I want to know what it's used for. Just right click it and it pops you into the codex. But you can see here it's produced, and then the only thing it's used for is well, right now until we get much further on, it's just used for research. We will be using it as an ingredient to make the lab equipment too, for further research later on, but that's not until we have glass and paper squared away. So that'll be a good minute. So alrighty. So with all that being done and all of our equipment moved, everything. Our industry is coming along. Next episode, we'll beef up our copper over here, same way we did with our iron. Make sure it's all squared away, ready to go for the next stage. We'll work on the upgraded concrete making over here in a similar way, right? So we'll do a similar blast furnace kind of setup over here for our concrete making, and then we'll be kind of set to move into the next era, if you will, or the next set of the research tree here. So, but alrighty, between this episode and next, I'll let these finish, and then we'll come back and work on the concrete and the copper, like I said. So, all right, well, thank you all for watching, and have a good day, and catch you later.